Hello. Tonight, we are stepping into a world that wraps around us every single day. A world anchored in soil, stretching upward toward light, and quietly alive with decisions unfolding moment by patient moment. This is the remarkable world of plant intelligence. What if intelligence does not require a brain? What if it does not need a heartbeat, or a nervous system, or even a single place where all the thinking happens? What if intelligence can bloom from something quieter, from webs of cells that sense, from leaves that read their surroundings, from roots that taste the chemistry of the earth beneath them? Beneath the canopy of a forest, inside the hush of a garden in the evening, there is never true stillness. Signals travel, resources move, decisions are made, slowly, steadily, without pause. The green world is not passive, it is perceptive, dynamic, far more aware than most of us ever stop to realize. If these gentle journeys bring you peace, I warmly invite you to like this video, subscribe to Dreamy Science, or leave a thought in the comments below. Every small action helps another sleepy soul find their way here. But for now, all you need to do is soften your body. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing slow. And as your mind begins to gently drift, come with me into the living, thinking, feeling world of plants. Let us begin. Plants solve problems without a brain by sensing and responding in real time. Rather than a central command, a plant relies on thousands of tiny sensors scattered across its roots, stems, and leaves. Light arrives as a signal. So does moisture, heat, touch, damage, and the presence of nutrients in the soil. The plant does not process these one at a time. It weighs them all together, constantly, like a ship's captain reading the wind and the waves and the stars simultaneously. If water becomes scarce, the plant may slow the growth of new leaves and push its roots deeper, searching for moisture. If sunlight comes from an angle, it can tilt its leaves to catch more of it. If one branch sits in shadow, the plant may quietly redirect its energy toward another that stands in better light. This is problem solving in slow motion, but it is problem solving undeniably. The answers show up as changed growth, redirected resources, and chemistry that shifts with the seasons. And time is always woven into the strategy. Some adjustments happen within minutes. Others take shape across weeks as the plant keeps revising its approach, always updating, always listening.
After a threat passes, plants do not simply forget. When drought, heat, or attack strikes, the first response is costly. Building protective proteins, sealing pores, or producing bitter defensive compounds all drain precious energy. Many plants do not shed that experience once the danger fades. Instead, they hold a kind of readiness, a lighter, more economical alertness, so that the next threat triggers a faster, stronger reply. Think of it like leaving tools on the workbench rather than locking them back in a cabinet. In some species, this memory is written directly into the plant's biology, using chemical tags that work like bookmarks on specific genes. The plant is not replaying a thought, it is not remembering in any way we would recognize, but it is carrying a changed state, a prepared one. And that preparedness can mean the difference between surviving the next storm or succumbing to it. Survival often belongs to the ready. Some plants do something extraordinary when they cannot fight back directly. They hire help. Certain species produce sweet nectar, not inside their flowers, but along their stems and leaves. Ants discover it quickly. They return again and again, drawn by the steady reward. And in exchange, without any formal agreement, they patrol. They bite caterpillars, they drive away beetles, they confront anything that settles on the plant before it can begin to feed. The plant converts its sugar into security. The ants convert their aggression into protection. It is not friendship, it is a trade, elegant, efficient, and extraordinarily effective. Some plants even provide tiny shelters for the ants, deepening the alliance and keeping their guardians close. A leaf that would otherwise have been stripped bare can remain intact, whole and green, because a living defensive force keeps watch over it. Beneath the surface, roots explore soil the way scouts explore unknown territory. Soil is never uniform. One pocket holds moisture, another holds toxins, another holds nothing useful at all. The root tip presses forward, sampling its surroundings continuously through sensitive cells and chemical receptors at its very tip. Where it finds rich ground, it branches more generously, weaving a dense web of living threads. Where it meets hard, compacted earth, it presses sideways, flattens, or threads itself through cracks. Where it encounters dryness, it slows and bends toward wetter zones. This is not wandering, it is directed exploration, shaped by feedback, guided by need. Over time, the architecture underground becomes something like a map, a record of every choice the plant made, etched in living tissue. What you cannot see in a garden is often the most extraordinary part. When insects begin to feed, some plants do something that seems almost impossible. They warn their neighbors. As a plant is bitten, it releases invisible chemical signals into the surrounding air. Nearby plants that detect those molecules can begin preparing before they are touched. They may toughen the tissue of their leaves, increase bitter compounds, or shift the chemistry of their sap so that feeding becomes less rewarding. In some systems, the message is even more strategic than that. The scent released by the injured plant can attract the natural enemies of the pest, tiny parasitic wasps that hunt caterpillars, for instance.
Some plants learn that certain touches are harmless, and they stop wasting energy responding to them. In nature, a brush against a leaf could mean a passing animal, potential danger, or it could mean nothing at all, a drop of rain, a gust of wind. Some plants respond to repeated harmless contact by quietly dialing down their reaction. Biologists call this habituation. It looks remarkably like learning because the behavior genuinely changes with experience. The sensitive plant is one of the most striking examples. Its leaflets fold inward rapidly at the slightest touch, but with repeated gentle contact, the folding becomes less dramatic, less urgent. The plant is not becoming numb, it is becoming discerning. It is learning to separate the signal from the noise. In a crowded habitat where leaves brush against each other all day long, that ability has real value. Constantly overreacting to harmless stimulation would be exhausting. The plant has found a smarter way to live. A single bite can set an entire plant in motion within minutes. The moment tissue is torn, the plant detects far more than a missing piece. It senses pressure changes, damaged cells, and chemical traces left behind by the attacker. Those signals launch a cascade that travels through internal channels, and distant leaves, nowhere near the original wound, can begin shifting their chemistry before the insect even finishes its first mouthful. Some plants rush defensive compounds to younger leaves first, protecting the growth that matters most for the future. Others alter the sugars in their sap, making the next bite far less rewarding. Timing matters enormously here. A slow response can turn a plant into an open buffet. A fast one can turn a single bite into a warning that costs the insect far more than it gains. The whole plant alarm is part security system, part logistics network. Resources are rerouted, repair begins, defenses rise, all of it triggered by one small wound that the plant treats as urgent, valuable information.
Plants keep time, even in complete darkness. Deep inside plant cells, proteins rise and fall in rhythmic cycles that track roughly a single day. This internal clock continues running even when a plant is moved to a windowless room with no sunrise or sunset to follow. Leaves still move in predictable patterns. Genes still switch on and off at expected moments.
Plants do not have ears, but they can feel the world move. Vibrations travel through touch-sensitive structures and cell membranes, and plants can distinguish between them in ways that genuinely surprise researchers. The subtle vibration of a caterpillar chewing on a leaf produces a different pattern than the random motion of wind. Some plants respond more strongly to the chewing signature, ramping up defenses earlier while staying calm in the presence of harmless movement. Vibration also shapes growth. Roots may respond to mechanical cues in the soil. Stems can strengthen when shaken repeatedly, building resilience against future storms. In laboratory settings, certain frequencies have been linked to changes in gene activity and hormone levels. The plant is not listening to music, it is reading the physical world through tremor and motion. And that reading expands its awareness in ways we are only beginning to understand. Life is full of movement, even when it looks perfectly still. A climbing vine finds its support with remarkable precision. Tendrils sweep through the air in slow, curving arcs, searching. When one makes contact with a surface, cells on one side of the tendril grow faster than the other. That uneven growth coils the tendril around the support, and as the tissue stiffens, the grip strengthens and holds. In an instant, a slow plant-paced instant, the vine has redirected its entire architecture. It no longer needs to grow thick, self-supporting stems. Instead, it borrows strength from its environment and sends its energy upward toward the light it needs. Some tendrils can even distinguish between surfaces, showing a preference for shapes that promise a seedling reaches toward light with astonishing speed, because its life may depend on it. When light arrives strongly from one direction, hormones shift rapidly within the young stem. Cells on the darker side grow faster, and the seedling bends, arc-like, toward the brighter direction. If the light changes, the plant changes its priorities again, sometimes within the same hour. For a seedling carrying only a tiny reserve of stored energy from its seed, those minutes genuinely matter. Turning toward light early or missing it can determine whether it becomes a thriving plant or a brief green attempt that never reaches full growth. Seen through time-lapse video, a young seedling searching for light looks almost like a creature reaching out, feeling for something. In a sense, that is exactly what it is. Some plants sense the approach of shade before it actually falls over them. Leaves absorb red light and reflect the longer, far-red wavelengths. In a dense, growing environment, a plant surrounded by neighboring leaves receives a subtle shift in the color of available light, a signal that competition is closing in overhead. Before shade actually arrives, the plant can read this change and begin adjusting. It stretches upward, leaf angles shift. Growth pushes toward the sky in a strategy called shade avoidance. Turn a potted plant on its side, and it begins, slowly, persistently, to correct itself. Shoots curve upward, roots curve downward. This is gravitropism, and it begins with something almost elegantly simple. Tiny, heavy bodies inside certain plant cells. They settle like grains at the bottom of a snow globe, and their position tells the cell, and through it the plant, which direction is down. That cue triggers a cascade. Hormones shift to one side of the stem or root. Cells expand unevenly, and a bend forms.
steadily restoring the plant's proper orientation. As the correction happens, the plant also reinforces itself, strengthening fibers, remodeling cell walls so the new posture holds. It is like a building that quietly senses it is tilting, reinforces its own beams, and straightens, all without anyone inside knowing it happened. Gravity never stops pulling, and so this conversation between physics and living tissue never really ends. When part of a tree's water system fails, the tree does not give up. It reroutes. Water moves through a tree in long internal columns. Those columns can fail when air enters after injury, drought, or disease. The tree cannot patch a broken pipe the way a plumber would. Instead, it reroutes. It seals off the compromised pathways and draws water through neighboring channels that still function. Over time, it may grow entirely new wood, fresh plumbing built around the damaged area. Think of a city closing a damaged bridge and redirecting traffic through side streets while quietly constructing a new overpass in the background. The overall network survives, adapts, and grows around its own wounds. A tree is not one pipe. It is a flexible, redundant web of pathways designed by millions of years of evolution to keep going, even when part of the system fails. On the surface of a leaf are millions of microscopic openings, and they are constantly making decisions. Each pore, called a stoma, is flanked by 2 guard cells. When those cells fill with water, the pore opens. When they lose water, it closes. This is where the plant makes its daily bargain. Open wide and carbon dioxide floods in, photosynthesis accelerates and growth surges, but water escapes with every breath. Close down and water is conserved, but carbon intake slows and growth pauses. The plant adjusts these millions of tiny valves in real time, responding to light levels, internal water pressure, air humidity, even a passing cloud. It is a living budget, managed pore by pore, leaf by leaf, moment by moment. When you look at a plant and see stillness, imagine this: millions of microscopic mouths, all negotiating at once, balancing the need to drink against the need to breathe. The green world has no headquarters, no brain, no central voice giving orders, and yet somehow it senses, it decides, it remembers, it warns, defends, adapts, and persists across seasons, across wounds, across drought and storm and shadow. Life finds a way, not by thinking the way we think, but by being extraordinarily, brilliantly responsive. Perhaps that is its own kind of wisdom. As you drift toward sleep tonight, you might carry with you a new sense of the living things around you. The plant on your windowsill, the tree outside your window, the grass in the dark beyond your door, all of them sensing, all of them quietly at work. And you, still, soft, breathing slowly, a part of the same world. Rest well. This has been Dreamy Science. If tonight's journey brought your peace, please share it with someone who needs a quiet place to land. And whenever you are ready for the next one, I'll be right here. Good night.